Today, I want to talk to you just a little bit about Chapter 3 and hit some of the high points because Chapter 3 starts talking about marketing, and really the rest of the semester will build upon this idea. And unfortunately, marketing is often misunderstood. People think of marketing as advertising and promotion, but they don't recognize that there are a lot of functions that are included with marketing. And so I hope this little brief overview will help you better understand what we mean when we say marketing. So, first of all, we need to understand that marketing, or the mission of marketing, is to bridge the gap between the conflicting needs of producers and consumers by completing the production process. What this means is that producers have one set of needs, consumers have a different sets of needs. So, anything that gets us from the producer to the consumer would be considered marketing. Or anything that gets us from a seed to a plate would be considered marketing. So when we talk about the market, there are really 5 barriers that exist in the market. These include ownership separation, meaning the inability to transfer ownership from one person to another. There's a time separation barrier, meaning the product isn't available when you need it, and that's true with a lot of agricultural products just because of the seasonality of what we raise or grow. There's a space barrier, meaning that the product is not where the consumer wants it. This could be an example, or an example could be a pineapple. In East Tennessee, we don't have pineapples. We have to transport those in, so there's a barrier there. Value. I always like to use wheat as an example here because I don't want you to bring me wheat. I want flour. So for me, there has to be a value added there. And then, of course, information. In today's society, there's a lot of information that is incorrect or just missing because people aren't as closely related to the farms as maybe in years past. So we have these barriers that keep producers from being able to easily get their product to the consumer. So the market provides 9 functions that overcome those barriers, if you will. Those functions are buying and selling, which overcomes the ownership barrier. If I'm selling to you, you buy it. We've exchanged ownership. There is storage, which overcomes time. Think of hay that gets stored until people are ready to use it. Think of canned foods that are stored. Transportation overcomes the location or the place barrier. Processing overcomes the value barrier. I mentioned before wheat and it being processed into flour. That would be a value barrier. Grades and standards overcome the information barrier because they provide information to consumers about the quality of the product. Financing overcomes the ownership barrier because it maybe provides the money needed to transfer the ownership. Risk taking. If you have a calf and you're going to raise that to sell for slaughter, there's a risk-taking factor in that time frame. And so the market provides that function, and that helps overcome the time barrier as well. And then, of course, market information helps overcome the information barrier. And so when you have these 5 barriers to the market, and the market provides these functions to kind of bridge across, what you get is that the market will satisfy consumer utility. And there are 4 of those. So maybe it satisfies the form that people want it in. I mentioned earlier, I don't want wheat, I want flour. Maybe it provides the place utility, so you can get pineapple in your local store as opposed to having to go to Hawaii. Maybe it provides the time utility that you can get tomatoes when you want them in the middle of December, or you can buy feed in the middle of December, even though feed isn't really harvested at that time, but it is available at that time. And then possession would be the fact that you can buy and sell, and now we can trade ownership, and I can own that, or if I'm selling, you can own that. And so whenever you were looking at marketing, we used to have this idea that just produce, and then make a hard sell, force it on people. Think of like a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman, like just make a great product and then go sell it. But today we've come to understand that there's a marketing approach, and so you don't necessarily become successful because you produce a better product. You become successful because you completely satisfy consumers' needs. And so if you were to think about Blockbuster, Blockbuster went out of business because people stopped wanting a better CD. They just wanted the experience of watching a movie. So Blockbuster could have made CDs on any medium they wanted. They could have even made movies on small jump drives. But once video streaming came into place, the convenience factor took over. So it wasn't having a superior product. It was more easily or better satisfying consumer demands. So I hope that helps you a little bit. If you have questions, feel free to reach out.